Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. I thought I would bring you to another come sit by the fire. I hope you can hear me because the camera or the phone is up high so you can see the fireplace. I'm coming along pretty well with this story, so I figured that I would read it to you. As usual, do not have a title for it, but when has that ever stopped us? And here we go. The wind always blows in the darkness. A million stars are glitter in the sky. The leaves rustle when that cool breeze comes across the property. Bonfire flames leap for freedom. We warm our hands, our bodies wrapped in blankets. Our hearts belong to Halloween. Come one, come all, while a story is told. Hold tight to your pillow and pray. Chase all your spooks away. The small bell rang at the top of the stairs. Someone unseen was close by. We sensed the presence above and were terrified it would descend. Silently, we pleaded. Up there it stayed. Footsteps trailed along the dark wooden floor. Each board creaked under an invisible weight. We held our breath, afraid to breathe. A whispered hello was barely audible, although we all heard. It floated down from the second floor. We were at the base of the mountain in a house forgotten long ago. A crystal lake stretched out before us. The moon glistened upon the black surface. Its glow touched the shore. Coyotes cried in the distance. The voices echoed across the water. The hoot of an owl in the tall pines was definitely close by. It couldn't have been a more unnerving scene than what we had placed ourselves in. The weather was near perfect for the time of year. Veils were thinning at an alarming rate. It was happening and we had no clue. A conversation outside the front door caused us to hide. We were sure any moment these people would come inside. The doorknob shook, then didn't move at all. We heard no steps of them leaving. Were they waiting for us to leave? How much trouble were we to be in? Together we quietly agreed not to move. We'd stay our course, sure they'd tire and go. Against a plaster wall, peeling paint, we sat in a row. Us at either end were terrified something would creep nearby. Those in the middle huddled together, holding hands tight. Our breath appeared in the still air of the room. We shivered and moved in closer. If we only had a blanket to cover us, I'd feel safer here inside this room, the middle friend said. It's the windows that scare me. I feel too exposed. This was the wrong place to hide, the next one whispered. The sound of a heavy chest dragging, then the thud came directly above us. We froze, holding tighter to each other's arms. We regretted wishing we'd left this place alone. A mistake is what we made. No second thoughts. The dot of a white light appeared in the high branches of a tree. It shone directly inside the room, narrowly missing to illuminate us. The coyotes once again called out within the night. Goosebumps covered our skin. Minutes ticked by, and the veranda was silent. No movement had been heard in the half hour that passed. The house seemed to sleep. The light in the branches faded. Now was the time to make our move. Slower than slow, we inched our way up against the decaying wall. Chips of paint crumbled to the floor, those that didn't attach to our clothes. Which way do we leave? I asked the group. No one gave an answer. It was time to get back outside, make our way to the bonfire. The camper was parked in the driveway, locked. Why are we doing this? Our friend who drove wanted to know. Why didn't you ask before? Why did you agree to drive? The other asked in return. Adventure? His simple reply. But I never expected any of this at all. We were lined up in the main hall, feet from the staircase. The sound of a coin falling from the stairs caused the five of us to gasp. It didn't take but a moment for us to bolt out the back door. Jim, our driver, fumbled with the keys as we pushed each other in the back. Get inside, I shouted, taking up the rear. Side door open, we fell over each other to get inside. I slammed the door shut and bolted the lock, pulling close the tiny shade. Catching our breaths within the dark cavity of the camper, we all heard it together. An extra breath that shouldn't have been there. I flicked the light switch by my side. Only the five of us were there. Don't turn off the light, Sue exclaimed, full of fright. I've seen those clips on television. I know what happens when it goes off. We can't leave it on. The battery will die and we'll never leave, I told her straight. Use these lights. Jim pulled out small lanterns from a cupboard by the fridge. This should give you enough light. He smiled at Sue. We all chose a place to lay our heads. Some took beds and others a sofa or chair. Uncomfortable as we were, sleep soon overtook us. The level of excitement had exhausted us. We just wanted to see the sun break above the trees. The beauty of the clear country sky was wasted on us that night. Jim made sure the blinds were down and we were safe, though there actually wasn't much more he could do. We were advised not to drive the lonely road at night. There were corners that were missed by those that attempted to flee. Bones were broken, but healed in time. It was my habit to get up and explore alone, but not this time. With the others, I felt safe and wanted to stay that way. The five of us grew up together, closer to each other than a sister or brother. We constantly supported one another. Now here we were, adventuring together, investigating a passion we shared that was becoming much too real. Jim was the first to wake. The sun was soon to be up. A muted beam of a flashlight attempted to find a way inside. My concern was when I woke was that Sue stay fast asleep. Jim touched my shoulder, then to his lips. The light made a full circle without the sound of footsteps. I gave a questioning look that he could see when his eyes adjusted to the dark. There we sat for 5 minutes before the light went out. It didn't fade like someone walking away, it just went out. Now the two of us could not sleep. What was going on outside? There was no way we were peering out. There was no chance of going out either. Sitting ducks, the old saying goes. We heard the whistle directly by the door. I pulled my feet up inside the blanket. Jim pulled me closer to him. I held tight around his chest when another came after the first. Oh God, don't wake Sue. She'll scream for sure, I whispered lower than before. Don't worry, she won't. I gave her a sleeping pill. She won't be up till after this morning. We'll be long gone from here by then. I prayed he was right. All we wanted was to sleep, to be fresh in the morning, but at this moment there was no chance of that. There was a sound of a scratching upon the aluminum door. It wouldn't take much to cut through to us. It didn't last long. Tony woke beside Sue on the bed. "What's up?" he asked. "Shh." I quickly replied, pointing to the door. He understood and listened. Slowly, the sound of claws grazed the entire surface around the camper. We followed the noise as tears came to our eyes. Hair on our body stood at attention. "I don't want to do this anymore," I whispered in Jim's ear. "We knew things were going to happen," Jim replied. "But knowing and experiencing are two different things. Maybe this was the first and last for me. We're together, we're safe inside." He attempted to calm me. "This will be old hat in time." Can time be now? It's too much at one time. Wayne was next to wake, in the comfy chair. A loud whistle came beside our window. Wayne's hand went to cover his mouth. A gentle shake moved the camper side to side. My mind went there, and it shouldn't. Above the mix of pine and silver birch, the hues of yellow and orange faded into blues of morning. The brightness of stars disappeared. Relief swept over those of us awake, still uncertain to pull up a shade. What had been outside that night may be standing, peering inside. Jim gathered his courage. One tough, and the first shade went up. One touch and the first shade went up. The view was clear, as was all others. Tony was the first to exit. "Guys, come out," he yelled to us inside. Together we walked the circumference of the camper. 3 thin lines had been made overnight. We had heard it, now seen it. "Guys!" Sue's high-pitched, frightened voice called out. "Guys! We're here, hang on," I shouted back. She stood in shock on the gravel drive. "What's this?" she asked. "Scratch marks," Tony replied. "What made them is gone." He placed a strong arm around her waist. "We'll be leaving soon, don't worry." I wouldn't be so sure. Jim pointed to the passenger side tire. It was flat. Sue and I sat beside the bonfire pit. The men got to changing the tire. The task was not easy and cumbersome. "We're stuck here." Sue became a bundle of nerves. "Trish, we're never leaving here." I placed my hand on her knee. "They'll change the tire and we'll be off." I was sure she heard the doubt in my voice. I prayed as never before. We had to leave this place. I glanced back towards the house. I took note of movement in the upper window. I mentioned nothing to Sue. I pushed myself out of the folding chair and I walked towards Jim. He looked up at me. "There is something inside the house. I seen it in the second floor window." Sue joined us at the wheel. Wayne came around to the back of the camper. "Bad news, gang. The driver's rear tire is flat too." She collapsed in the heat on the ground. Tony helped her up into a chair. "We're never leaving. It won't let us go." Tears streamed down her face. From somewhere within the house, a loud bang, followed by a haunting laugh, came. Whatever it was pleased with itself. And I think I will leave it there for this evening. I know Tammy is having kittens now, but I'm marking my place, and we will continue more than likely tomorrow. I'm really enjoying this story, I have to thoroughly admit, and I hope you are too. Looks like things are getting a bit dark again. As I think I said, hubby's gone to the store, so he should be back soon. He walks very fast. And so from a stormy Ottawa, as always, ciao for now.